And he very, for whatever reason, guarded where he was getting this information from, his source, right? And one of the speculations is he didn't want to lose his credibility by saying, I got these ideas from the Blackfoot. And one of the people in the audience said, the last time I talked to Maslow, he told me the experience I had at Siksika shook me to my knees.
Between the Blackfoot and the other two tribes that you mentioned?
We're part of the Confederacy. We call Siksika the Blackfoot tribe. But now they've corrected that, and if you go to their community, it's called the Siksika Nation. And they're one. And that's where he went. We're Gana. And the people from Brockett, or in that area, is the North Pagan, Apatusipikan. And the other is in Montana, the South Pagan, Amskapipikan. All of those make the Blackfoot Confederacy. We all speak the same language and occupied that land.
But there was the two communities that didn't like the Blackfoot? Or this is, and then they mentioned, you know, that's when...
No, there was conflict in the community next to Siksika now at that time.
Which community was that?
Clooney and Gleason and, you know, the surrounding ranchers and so forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so that's when Maslow asked
those elders
what they thought of that, and they said, yeah, they were lacking something. Right?
Yeah, he was really surprised because he had done his own analysis beforehand of the white people living around the Siksika, outside of the Siksika Reserve and surrounding towns, and why they treated people like this. And when the elders tell him, well, those people, there's something, they're not whole, they're not complete, they're lacking something. He thought, he had actually, that would have been what he had said too. And what astounded him was he went to, so many years of training in psychology to come to be able to arrive at that kind of a conclusion. And here are these elders, there's no training in psychology, right? What's going on? Come up with the same idea.
You've got another question.
You think of the current economic crisis might be a change of understanding come to recognize the value of communal ways of life.
I think with the current environmental crisis, that might happen.
That's a very good question, and I think that's been our work. And this weekend we have this workshop that's coming on about political ecology, where we're talking about those things. But certainly in our work, there was a body of knowledge that was already here that was not looked at, and that's what we're trying to record. And this is one case study of somebody paying attention to what was here. So the economy and the environmental issues have been a concern for our community for a number of years. They were worried about taking too much, exploiting too much, that there's going to be consequences to that. And that's why at the beginning I was talking about a relationship to land. The land does have enough to sustain life. But if you're just going to exploit it and take more than you need, that's when we run into trouble, the kind of trouble we're faced with.
We've been challenging, we went through a training session with Al Gore last spring, back east, a 2-day training in his climate science, and then we went over the summer to Banff. There was a science communicators doing a couple-week workshop up there. And we were challenging them because listening to the discourse on the environment, what you hear is take less. We're gonna have to take less. But you don't hear, like one of the concepts that was in the slide presentation earlier was Atsimskas, which is making amends with. If you take, what are you gonna give back? That's never even considered in the environmental discourse, but it's going to have to be at some point. In order for life to continue, there has to be a balance. And so one of the questions we're posing challenges is to use all of the creativity that we have and say, well, how are we going to feed back every time we take? Because that's what's really good.
Well, thank you for coming. There's familiar faces here that I see, and thank you for coming.